All right, welcome back to the Dose Leprechauns podcast. This is episode 1 of the playoff era. That's what we're going to call it, the playoff era.
Cool.
I'm extremely excited. I don't think I've ever felt this confident in a Notre Dame playoff game before. I'm really excited for the next 3.5 hours.
How about the next?
Probably like 5.5.
How about the next month and a few days for the whole playoffs?
Well, yeah.
So big game against Indiana. Before we go too much further, we're going to try to share our screen here for a minute. We got a couple guests that are potentially going to be joining us from Notre Dame. They're at the game. Obviously, we're not. We're really sad about it, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. I promise. Maybe. But we're going to share our screen here for a minute. I want to show you guys why this is going to become a very personal game, because these little jokesters want to be playing games and they're barking up the wrong tree. But here you go. Here's courtesy of, this is not even just some fan. This is Indiana University football Twitter account. Look what they've done to Touchdown Jesus. There's certain things you don't do, and that's one of them. And there was a couple other random fan accounts that decided they were going to be funny comedians and put some stuff up there with like O'Rourke. What's his name? Rourke? Who cares? With him and the face of Jesus. Like, come on, guys. I mean, I know they're excited to be here and that whole thing, but that's going a little bit too far in our opinion. So I hope that the boys take care of them, because they're getting a little bit big for their britches. Let's see. Heartland Laser House. Guys, you better be at Georgia next month cheering them on. I mean, that's the plan. If we can get there, hopefully we might have to sell a car or two, put Nate up on an auction block, but one way or the other, we'll be there. So we're waiting on our guest to arrive, Jason Tylee, who's live at the game, holding down the fort at the Dos Leprechauns tailgate out there. So hopefully he'll be jumping on here soon. We just posted a video of the player walk. Hopefully you guys had a chance to check that out. The guys look fired up, especially Anthony Knapp. There's a pretty cool video of him getting pretty fired up with the crowd. So I'm excited. Nate's super excited. Hope you guys are too. Now let's talk a little about the game. Nate's been doing a lot of film watch on Indiana. I'll be honest, I don't know much about them other than that I know they're 11-1 and had some success against some pretty decent teams, including Michigan. They beat Michigan. They beat Nebraska pretty bad. Killed Purdue just like we did. I think that's the only common opponent, if I'm not mistaken. So good team coached by Signetti, who is a good coach, but rather annoying in my opinion. I know they got a good quarterback, but he's very one-dimensional. So, Nate, who are going to be looking out for on that team, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Signetti. I mean, I was a fan of Coach Signetti throughout this whole season. I like the story of Indiana. You know, underdog stories are cool until they end, and I think that underdog story ends tonight in a very nice Irish win tonight. But going on to some of Indiana's playmakers on their team, Justice Ellison, he's kind of their Jeremiah Love, if you will. I mean, he's going to do it all for them. He's their yak back. He's their running back. He can really do it all for their offense. Kind of like a lot of Notre Dame's opponents, though, this year, I had a hard time kind of separating who they played from how they look against actual good opponents. And, you know, they look like world beaters like Navy did. Navy, when we played them, they were the best offensive team in the country, 43 points per game, the least amount of turnovers in a game, best offensive efficiency, and everybody was picking Navy in that game, saying Notre Dame's not going to be able to handle their offense, and obviously proved everybody wrong like we always do. But I would just like to say, like, Indiana is the best offensive team in the country stat-wise. I think those numbers are very inflated. By playing teams like Purdue, 66 points against an opponent is going to do that. I really think that Notre Dame is going to be another test for Indiana that they're not quite ready for. I think they showed that against Ohio State. They kind of, looked a little bit timid, and Ohio State took advantage of that like they do against a lot of teams. But like I said, they're averaging 43 points per game, second in the country. They have the most total touchdowns in the country with 70. And, like I said, it's intimidating, but the combined record for their teams that they've played this year are 61-77.
Wow.
So I really think that you can't look too much into their opponents. Ohio State is probably my biggest one that I I'd laser in on, and everybody's been lasering in on. And when you look at that game, that's not the Indiana team that puts up 43 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have a good game that game at all. They only had 151 total yards against Ohio State. And a lot of those yards, if we're being fair, were in garbage time when Ohio State was up by 24 and they knew they had won. They were taunting Indiana on the sidelines. Like, that score could have been a lot worse if Ohio State kept their guys in. So with that being said, Indiana, had some issues with their special teams against Ohio State. Notre Dame is one of the best special teams units in all of college football.
That's
trick
for sure.
plays, block punts, all that kind of stuff. Michigan was their second toughest game, like you had said. And in that game, again, they had 246 total yards of offense. And that is not the Indiana team that shows the 43 points per game, the 70 total touchdowns. It's if the Irish put some pressure on Rourke tonight, I think they're going to be just fine.
That's actually my absolute key to the game is getting pressure on Rourke. I really don't care. Putting pressure on that guy, making him have to make some bad throws, because from what I've seen, I haven't watched much film, but from what I've seen, he can't move at all. He's somebody, I don't remember who said it the other day, but he's basically Indiana's Jack Cohn, which is hilarious if you think about it. But if that's the case, I think our D-line is going to feast today. We got Howard Cross back. Riley Mills has been playing lights out. Josh Burnham's going to have a good game. Junior Tiliamaka is going to have a great game. I can't say this enough. I want to see Bryce Young out there on dang near every play. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. But I'd love to see Bryce Young out there as much as humanly possible, because the kid is an absolute beast.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think Notre Dame's done a really good job this year of playing the best players, and you can't say that for the same Notre Dame teams of 2018, 2020, teams that made the playoffs and just didn't succeed. Another point on Indiana, their defense is pretty stout defensively. Their D-line is 100% their best players. James Carpenter, Mikola Kamara.
Excuse me?
Kamara is their defensive end. He's a really good edge rusher, and he's going to give Riley and Jeremiah Love some fits. But I really think Notre Dame's offensive line is going to outmatch the D-line, and that's going to be a big part of the game. Like Jeff had said a few weeks ago on the podcast where we started to talk about Indiana, they're the best defensive team against the run, only allowing about 2.5 yards per carry. And again, it's tough to say that that's a fair stat, because Purdue isn't known for the rushing attack. Northwestern isn't known for the rushing attack. It's just very tough to say, oh, we should be scared of that for this reason, this reason. We can give respect because we know what happened against NIU, but there's got to be a point where you're like, Notre Dame's the better team in this game, and they're going to show why they're the better team in this game. That's why my score prediction tonight is going to be 31-13 Irish.
Man, I don't really do score predictions. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to I think it's going to be and Nate and I were just talking about it, I think it's going to be similar to the Louisville game. I think they're going to fight. They got some playmakers. I think they have just enough playmakers to make it a close game, but I don't think they have enough up and down the lineup, up and down the roster to beat us, especially in South Bend. Word on the ground at South Bend right now is that it's very much a pro Notre Dame crowd, not a lot of red, which is great to see, because one of the last things I'd want to see is a bunch of red in that beautiful stadium. Looks like the snow has dissipated, so the shout out to the field crew, including our boy Chipster, for getting that thing ready to go, making it look beautiful as always. So it looks like that will kind of be a non-factor, so that'll be interesting to see. Let's go back to some of the comments here in the chat. We've got Fred Benson on YouTube, always joining us on YouTube. Thanks, Fred. Indiana is known for their basketball coach who needed anger management and striped clown pants. Indy has 11 championships plus 7 Heismans. Golly, who am I going to pick? Notre Dame 14, Indiana 14.
No,
wow.
41.
I'm sorry. Notre Dame 41, Indiana 14. Clint Shaw says, I watched Rourke play at Ohio University. He can be mobile.
Not anymore after his ACL injury, ACL surgery, I should say,
okay,
which was a few years ago.
Good deal. Looks like Cameron Deach wants to know, that's Greg's brother. Nate, what's the touchdown parlay setup for tonight? So who's scoring?
I think Bo Collins is due.
Ooh.
Obviously, J-Love's the easy pick. 11 for 11 in touchdowns this season.
Crazy.
Set a Notre Dame record.
Wait, it's 12 for 12, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. 12 for 12. So I go J Love, Bo, and then a little, I guess, underdog pick would be Jaden Greathouse.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see Jaden Greathouse have a big game tonight. And Bo, of course. We love Bo.
Yeah.
Bo knows. See Ohio State run the ball on him. We know what Ohio State can do, obviously. Let's see. Rocky Swift, let's go, boys. Go flipping Irish. Thanks for editing that. Kenny on X says them. Oh, Ohio State ran the ball on them. Okay, gotcha. Richard Dennis, Rourke hasn't been very mobile since his injury. That's what Nate said. Hence why OSU blitzed him like crazy and shut him down. So that's what we need to do tonight. Amber Sullivan, always checking in. Good friend. So excited for the game. Go Irish. See, Renee Sanchez says, I'm excited to see this game. Here we go, Irish. Play like a champion today and love what you're doing, Dose Leprechauns. Thank you guys for jumping on and joining us. We love doing this. This is our first of hopefully 3 more after this pregame playoff game episodes. And we'll see. Let's see. Richard Dennis says Irish money line, Price 25 plus, and Leonard 40 plus rushing. Under 52.5 is winning me some money tonight. That's Richard putting a little cheese on the game. I like it. Let's see. John David Harmon, no drop passes. Greathouse and Faison need to come up big. Yeah, I'd love to see Faison go off too. He's probably going to be the fastest guy on the field tonight. So that'll be good. Pat Malloy, 38-10, all Irish. Amber Sullivan again says, really hope it doesn't come down to a kicking game. If J-Love does what he does best and Riley stays confident, things will be great. Agreed. Yeah, I think the O-line's clicking at the right time. J-Love's going to do J-Love things. I think Jadarian Price will have a good game too. And, man, if you haven't already seen it, go check out Riley Leonard's Twitter to see his article that he did for the Athletic. It's essentially a letter to Notre Dame fans, student and athletes, fans, all of his classmates, his coaches, and man, that if you don't get fired up and believe in that kid after reading this article that he put out, then you don't have a heart. I mean, the kid is amazing, and whatever you may think of how he started the season, he's been instrumental in the Irish going 11-1 this year. Let's see. Greg Costello says Indy by 14, too talented. Patrick McCormick says 31-16 Irish. Greg Costello, Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys as well. It's so cool, man. December 20th, and we're talking about Notre Dame football in the playoffs. I mean, how many of you, honest question, thought that we'd be in this position on September 12th-ish when Notre Dame lost to NIU? Yeah, we can raise our hands because we sat here and told you on air. We got, was it tape, film, don't lie. We can go back and play it back. Maybe we will next episode.
Find it. We have a lot of downtime if/when we win this game.
Exactly. But you said it was guaranteed. They put a guarantee on
it.
Kenny said that article is deep. Yeah, man, it got me right in the feels for sure. And Riley, again, just a great kid, great leader. Took all responsibility for that NIU loss, which obviously it wasn't just on him. He definitely didn't contribute to us winning that game, but it wasn't just on him, but he absolutely accepted it. And you can tell the fire that's been burning since then. See, Rich Dutcher says, let's freaking go. Bowen is going to light someone up. So Rich, big shout out to Rich. He's the one that sent me the video of the player walk. So thank you, sir. And if you saw the look in those dudes' face, go back and watch the video on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. They look fired up, especially Anthony Knapp, man. He came out and it was awesome. So it's going to be good stuff. Our good friend Sheila Allen here on Facebook says, let's go Irish. No matter what happens, I'm so proud of Coach Freeman and our team. Let's go finish strong. I personally, we're at a position now with this program where it's not just let's show up and have fun. It's win and keep winning and pound these guys in the freaking throat. We are by far the more physical team. We're nasty, and they've got a chip on their shoulder. A lot of the talking heads do have us winning, but I think that there's a lot of people that also have said that Indiana can come out and surprise everybody and beat us at Notre Dame. We can't let that happen. This has to be the time that everybody can shut up already about the narrative that Notre Dame can't win in the postseason. But let's be honest, that narrative has been correct so far. Ever since the 1988 championship, the national championship against West Virginia, the Irish haven't won a playoff game. Let's be honest. Clemson, Bama twice. Who am I forgetting? I think that's it, right? Yeah. This is the time. This is the opportunity. This is the team to get it done, man. You have everybody's clicking at the right time. You have the best running back in the country. I said it. I think he's better than Genty, whatever his name is. As you can tell, I really don't care about other people's names and teams and blah, 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 other than the Irish. So whatever. But yeah, good receiving core, awesome leader at a quarterback position. The defense speaks for itself. Golden is that defense. They have been absolutely lights out. I think that one name you're going to hear a lot tonight is Drake Bowen, like Rich said. I think Drake is very motivated for this game. Everybody's motivated, but I think Drake really wants to go out there and put on a show, and he's going to. It's going to be awesome. See, Kenny says on Twitter, I'm a freaking nervous wreck, and we are favored. Yeah, I think it's still the spread's still 7.5. So interestingly enough, that spread hasn't moved once. For most of the games this year, if I remember correctly, the line was kind of up and down, give or take a couple here and there for just about all the games. I don't think it's moved at all for this game, which is interesting, but also a little bit encouraging in my opinion. Joseph George, control the line of scrimmage. That's literally the key to this game. Got to get pressure. Yep, absolutely. You got to get pressure on Rourke, and you got to why does Jason Lynch call me? And you got to be able to get on. You got to be able to get after Rourke, and you got to be able to protect Riley. One of the advantages that I think that we definitely have in this situation is that if our O-line breaks down, if a play breaks down, whether it's a design run or not, I think Riley Leonard obviously has the ability to make plays with his feet, bounce around, make a play, get out of trouble, keep the ball in front of the chains, keep the ball moving. Whereas Rourke, I think if the play breaks down and he gets pressure, he's going to have to throw it away or take a sack, right? So, again, get in their face. Howard Cross, looking for him to have a huge bounce back game. He's been out for three games.
Virginia. That'd be 3.
Yeah, 3 games. So he should be fresh and ready to go. My understanding is he's full go. My understanding is Jay Love is full go. So excited to see those guys. You want some in the stadium? That's what the heck? That's us. What in the world? Yes, whoever's putting, I think that's either Lynch or Joe, Jeff, whoever's on the page right now. Yeah, anything in the stadium would be amazing. We're going to jump off very shortly because we want to be able to give that anything from inside the stadium some real love. We're about an hour and 10 minutes away from game time, so hopefully you guys have your beverage of choice. You've got the area around the couch and the TV cleared up, ready to get fired up for your touchdown celebration. We're rocking our college football playoff shirts and, of course, green because we want to see an Irish green out. How many of you guys bought any of the college football playoff gear? There wasn't a whole lot there, and it was a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest, but, it is what it is. Patrick McCormick says, congrats on 20,000 followers, boys. Yeah, that was cool. So yesterday we hit 20,000 followers on Facebook, and Patrick's saying congrats to us, but, Patty, you're part of the team too, man, and you're a real beauty out there on Facebook and helping us keep this thing going. We love our team. It's awesome. Yeah, Lunch Truck, if you can get some live footage, that would be amazing. Appreciate you. See you both at the Linebacker January 21st celebrating the Natty. God, that is legitimately would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
When we won the Natty in '88, I wouldn't ever think of even being able to go to Notre Dame, much less going to Notre Dame for a parade and drinking some beer, whiskey, or fireball shots at the backer. So, or maybe, yeah. So if I'm being honest, I'm more of a seltzer guy now because, yeah. Thank you for all the coverage. Go Irish. That's from Bill Brennan. Absolutely our pleasure. This team is incredible to follow, and it's, again, we say it over and over again. It's not just about the football. Obviously, we're thrilled to be in the playoffs and a serious contender for the national championship, but having the absolute blessed opportunity to get to know a lot of these guys, just really good people, good families, people that are going to go on and do great things in life, whether it's on the field or not. So Irish forever. Greg Costello says, boo to seltzers. Well, when you have gout, it's a little easier to drink seltzers than it is, an IPA or something. So let's see. You want some stadium action? We got that. Control the line of scrimmage. I'd love to see 2 pick sixes in this game, like against our rivals. That was from Clint Shaw. Yeah, I'll take that. Those pictures, by the way, from that, those pictures from the game against USC. First of all, the Jeremiah Love hurdle, and then just smashing poor number 4 in the face, and then Xavier Watts looking at the USC sideline as he returns a pick 6. Those are going to go down in Notre Dame lore as some of those moments that you're like, man, I'll never forget where I was when that happened. Nate, you got a question here from Kenny. How is IU's secondary?
It's solid. They have a lot of turnover numbers, and they get a lot of turnovers in the red zone. So I think it's good when it needs to be. But again, like Will Howard didn't throw any interceptions or anything, and I call him a pretty solid quarterback. Not great, but pretty solid. So, against really good quarterbacks, they haven't really shown much. Like I said, it's hard to say that this team's good or not.
One other thing, this is another great comment from Amber Sullivan. I thought it was going to be a straight dumpster fire after that loss, talking about big credit to Freeman for whatever he said to those fellas afterwards. I think is what he said after that game, but I think it's been every game since then. I know that they've been playing clips of the NIU loss pretty much before every game as they walk into the locker room. And I think that's a big motivating factor for them to never forget that feeling about how they felt after that loss. If you've been watching the Here Come the Irish series on Peacock, if you're not, you absolutely should. It's amazing. You can kind of see that that loss is still in their minds as far as making sure that they never have that kind of letdown again. And here's another opportunity. Indiana coming in, underdogs, lot to prove, nothing to lose. At home, we're at home. So, you got to avoid that slip up that you kind of had against an NIU and make sure that you're ready to play and disciplined. He talks about one play, one life. That's what Freeman says all the time. The gold standard, obviously, and that's what they need to create tonight. So I look for big things from this team tonight. I feel more confident tonight than I have at any point with the Irish being in the playoffs. So hopefully that comes to fruition. Thanks for all you guys do. From Bill Cannon. Again, absolutely. It's our pleasure. Let's see. Wide receivers as good as USC's wide receivers, IU?
They have one really good one. I think that was kind of the case with USC. They had one really good one that they didn't throw to. But they kind of just spread the ball around because that was their offense that day with their running back going out. So I'd say they're a little worse than USC's receivers, but they're still pretty good.
Robert Sheehy says, which is bigger key, our rush O against their rush D or their pass O against our pass D?
I would say our D rush against their O.
Yeah,
just
because
like we keep saying, like the pressure on Rourke is going to be the key to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Get him in some pressure. He's not going to escape the pocket. He's that's where some intentional groundings can come in too, and I feel like that's another key part of the game that could happen today.
Anthony Riley asked, question I have is, do you think we can run the ball since Indiana is good against the run? I do. Again, I think they are good against the run. And I don't think you're going to see a ton of, Jeremiah Love 70, 80-yard scampers to the end zone. But I think we're going to be able to do enough to get first downs and then have a couple big plays here and there to put it in the end zone.
Yeah, I'd love to see J Love get some chances catching the ball in the backfield. I think that's been such an underutilized part of his game this year. I get he's running the ball like crazy, so I'm not going to complain too much, but I just think him with the ball in his hands is the key tonight. Like, get J Love the ball any way you can, and good things will happen. It's like he's the best player on the field at all times. So
100%.
Just give him the ball.
J Love is without a doubt the best player on either side tonight. I would put Xavier Watts a close second, but if you give that playmaker the ball, he's going to make things happen for you. And even last year when you saw him get opportunities, he made the best of them. So he's obviously ready for this moment. And Robert Shee's a screen game. Yeah, we saw a couple of nice little screens against SC and then against Army. I would love to see some of those again. Who knows? Maybe we'll see another trickeration on punt. That punt, fake punt that we had when we scored against Virginia and then the refs called it back was still just a beauty, just an absolute beauty. But they called it back. Clint Shaw says J-Love 120 plus and 2 tutties. If J-Love goes for over 102 tutties, we win by 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you right now. So let's hope Clint Shaw's prediction of J-Love going 120 plus and 2 TDs comes true. What do Riley Leonard have to do for the offense to be successful? They just don't turn the ball over. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. He doesn't need to be Rourke. Rourke's going to have to win the game with his arm. I think Riley can manage the game with his arm and win the game by throwing the ball or by running the ball if he needs to and handing the ball off to his redunculous playmakers in J-Love and Jadarian Price. And for that matter, Aeneas Williams. I would put Aeneas Williams up there with Indiana's backs, who are also good. But if you're talking about best running backs on the field, J-Love and Jadarian are far and above better than anything Indiana's going to throw at us or run at us. Jason Lynch, how can I be famous enough to be on the show and bring in the stadium views right now? What are you talking about? We're going to jump off here in a minute, Lunch, and then it's all you, man. Gary Kennedy says, go Irish. That's the Irish Giant coming at you. What's up, buddy? Hope to see you soon, maybe in South Bend for a celebration in a few weeks. Sheila Allen would love to see a fake punt.
I don't want to see any fake punts.
Christina Losak-Raftovich says, go Irish. Was that the most iconic player walk or what? That's from Gary. Yeah, totally. Is nighttime. Everybody was fired up. You saw the intensity. Yeah, good stuff, man. It was all good. So, all right, we're going to get out of here, guys, so you guys can get ready for the game. We're just about an hour away. We will be back one way or the other after the game to hopefully celebrate. And hopefully we don't need therapy afterwards, but hopefully it's just a celebration. So with that, check out the page because it looks like we're going to have some live footage from inside the stadium. So please check that out. Stick with us. And we'll be back in about 3.5 to 4 hours to celebrate and look ahead to Georgia, hopefully. We got to take care of business first, but hopefully that's what we're doing. So our guys were warming up with no shirts. That's intense. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Go Irish, beat Indiana.